Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 102 is talking about a very serious problem that we deal with in education, and that's the mental health well-being of our students. Senate Bill 102 is simply a cleanup bill from 2020 Senate Bill 8, and what it does is it includes that a superintendent must define all mental health services providers in the required documentation. In addition to school counselors, the superintendent's report to KDE should also include the number, the position, the duties, and the certification of all mental health service providers. KDE shall annually compile an ongoing list of the mental health service providers by district and provide a report to the Interim Joint Committee on Education. This is going to require that each kid does have access to the mental health help that they require. At this time, I'd like to yield to the gentleman from Rock Castle for a friendly floor amendment.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Rock Castle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Please have the clerk report House Floor Amendment 3.
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 3 to Senate Bill 102.
Gentleman from Rock Castle.
What this amendment does is it adds qualified mental health professionals as currently defined in the KRS as someone who can sign a statement for the student. This does not remove the ability of a doctor to do it, but it simply adds those qualified mental health professionals that are in the hospital and caring for the students the ability. Healthcare facilities are short-staffed, and this would allow for students to receive the instruction they need more quickly. If there are no questions, I move for adoption of House Floor Amendment 3.
Motion is for adoption of House Floor Amendment 3. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Those opposed, nay. House Floor Amendment 3 is adopted. Gentleman from Jackson.
Mr. Speaker, at this time I move that the rules be suspended to hear House Floor Amendment 1, which has been identified as the clerk to be a piggyback.
Motion of the gentleman from Jackson is for suspension of the rules for the purpose of hearing House Floor Amendment 1, which has been identified as a piggyback. Motion is not debatable. Requires a constitutional majority of 51. Those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Roll call is open for your vote. Clerk will take the roll. In 66 members voting aye, rules are suspended for the purpose of allowing House Floor Amendment 1 to be heard and acted upon. Gentleman from Jackson.
Mr. Speaker, fellow colleagues, this House Floor Amendment also talks about another very important issue in education, and that's gifted and talented education. What this amendment will do, or what it deals with, is it deals with the gifted and talented students in our state. In our state, we have an advisory council for gifted and talented students. All this amendment will do is it's going to require the Kentucky Association of Gifted Education to have a vote in this council. Currently, there's 19 voting members in this council and 3 non-voting members. What this amendment will do, it will allow 1 additional voting member, and that member will be appointed by CAGE, which, like I mentioned earlier, is they are the premier advocacy group for gifted and talented here in Kentucky. So that's what this amendment will do. This member is going to be appointed by Cage and will represent their interest. This amendment also requires that this council meet 4 times per year instead of 2. So it allows this council to get together and make sure that all of our students in the state of Kentucky, all of our gifted students, are getting all the services that they require and they need.
Motions for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 1. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House Floor Amendment 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Jackson.
Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I move for passage of Senate Bill 102 as amended by House Floor Amendment 1 and House Floor Amendment 3.